friends, today I figured I would do my first ever foundation review. So I'm going to try a foundation. We're going to test it out. I'm going to check back in with you a couple times throughout the day, and of course at the end of the night before I take my makeup off. We're going to see if we like this foundation. I've sort of tested it a couple of times already. You can see I've used quite a bit of it. This is the new Zoeva foundation that came out a while ago. Mine is, it says Authentic Skin. Mine is in the color Daring or 120N. This is too dark for my skin, too yellow for my skin. I do want to, after I finish this, maybe try it again with a different shade. We're going to lighten it up a little bit with some foundation. It's workable. I just have to really kind of move it down my skin. This is for a yellow undertone. It's a neutral. It's like light to medium neutral, which is what I need, but I needed one with like a peachy or a pink undertone. This is more of a yellow, and I don't really like that, but we're going to try it out. But first, let's get the details of the what we're dealing with here. So it is a glass container. See if it tells me how much you get. 1 full ounce or 30 mils. So it's very standard. That's typical for what you get with foundation. And this retails in this retails on the website for $28. It is made in Italy. Let's see, what does it claim? It's light, medium to buildable, natural luminous, silky smooth, all day long finish. It comes in 44 different shades, so it's a good shade range, and that ranges from warm to cool or neutral undertones. And then they had, like I said, they had some with like peachy and yellow, and they kind of describe what the undertones are. I just did a bad job of picking. I think this will look good in a couple months when I spend more time outside. My skin's a little darker. I think this will work better, but you'll see upon first application, it's too dark for me. That's always the hard part about ordering it online. I should have had, like, if I could have seen it in a store, I would have done better. It is a lightweight formula, and it's designed to maintain your skin's natural protective barrier while evening out your complexion and allowing skin's natural luminosity and shine through. It does have a couple neat ingredients. It has rosehip oil, which adds radiance, and olive oil, which gives you suppleness and luminosity, and as well as like a flexibility. And then it has microsphere powders with a soft focus property to get flawless airbrushed look. So we shall see. We're going to do a sponge and a brush application. So I'm going to use my Morphe M446 for one side of my face and my microfiber sponge for the other. I'm also going to use the Tarte base tape on half my face and no primer on the other half of my face. So on this side of my face we'll use the primer. I just want to see, I'm just curious if the side with the primer will do better, or if we're going to be looking at pretty much if it's going to make any difference at all. I'm also trying to figure out, like, do primers even make a difference in the length of time that our skincare and our not skincare, our makeup stays on. I don't know how I feel about that. So this is also kind of a test of the primer as well. I do like this primer. It is the Double Duty Beauty base tape, and it's a hydrating primer. Also 30 mils or 1 ounce. So it's the same amount as in our foundation, and this came, I think, in one of our BoxyCharm boxes, and I do like it. So while we're letting that sink in, we're going to go right in with a dampened sponge, and probably put too much on there, but we're going to go ahead and do the other side of our face with the sponge. I guess I'll bring you guys a little bit in. Okay, so we'll let all that dry. And I have marks on my face, so we're going to see how they do. I also have some concealer we're going to use as well. So you can see right away, it's too yellow for my skin, but it's okay. It's going to be okay. It eventually blends in, and I probably put a little too much on now that I'm dabbing it in. Like, I have enough here to put on the other half of my face too. We're going to go right down the neck here, blend that in, and over the tops of the ears. I might as well just get my eye, because we're gonna do I'm gonna do a look for you guys too with eye makeup later on. Okay. I'm gonna flip it over just to suck up any extra foundation. Right now it looks pretty good from what I can see in the mirror. Okay, so you guys can see what I'm seeing. No makeup, just primer, and one side of the one side with the foundation with the sponge application. Covered up, so it covered up the forehead pretty good. You can still see, I mean, you can still see my skin through it. It's definitely more of a medium coverage, I would say. But we'll see how it does now on this side that this is soaked in a little bit. And we'll go in with the brush and try this side. And we're gonna buff that in. Let's see if we get better coverage or the same. I used one pump on each side of my face, so it took 2 pumps. Getting that corner, it's always dark. Down in my neck. Okay, to me, right off the bat, looking, I don't see a ton of difference. I'm still kind of shiny under here. I had some serums on, that's still kind of luminous. It's very luminescent. Same thing, it's still wet, you know? So let me look closer in my mirror and see if I can tell any bit of a difference. No. I can't see any difference from putting on the brush side or the sponge. I was trying to see like if one had better coverage. I also want to see if it is going to change color at all. That's something I haven't checked as I've worn it. So you guys can see it's got a nice luminosity to the skin. It's still tacky. On both sides, it's still tacky. We definitely need a powder with this. And I'm gonna go in also with my concealer. I just got this in. This is the Pat McGrath. I have it in L2. I'm going to do a little review on this concealer too. I've used it a couple times. Spoiler, I like it. And let's go in and get, and it comes in a nice glass bottle. And let's do a little bit of coverage under the eyes, and of course on our little red spot right there. Any of our little spots, I'm gonna put a little bit where I get a little darker here. All right, I think that's all I need. That looks funny. It's so much lighter. It's so much lighter than the Zoeva stuff, so it's okay. We're just gonna blend that in. The foundation is actually probably a better match. I mean, the concealer, but once you have the foundation all in like this, it doesn't look bad. It's just that these two shades are really different from each other. I'm using the wrong side. Okay. right, there we go. I think that's pretty good. So I am going to finish up real quickly the rest of my face, and I'm going to be doing some check-ins with you guys. Be right back with the rest of my face. I am going to use the translucent powder by Laura Mercier to set all of this, but I have some bronzer and blush I want to put on first, so I'll be right back. Okay, here is the finished look for today. You are going to see a eye look using a new shadow palette and a new blush. And we're gonna check in. It is 1:30 in the afternoon, 1:30 Eastern, and we're gonna check in and see how this foundation looks in a few hours. I did just, after I did it, I did just eat some chips and cheese, and it does look a little bit oily on my chin. Doesn't feel oily though. So I will check back in with you guys in a little bit, and we'll see how this foundation holds up. What I want to really watch is right around here. Usually it's been breaking up around here, and it may just be on my headset at work, and now that we're home it might be fine. So we'll find out and see at the end of the day. I'll see you guys all back in a bit. Okay guys, this is my first check-in about 3 hours later. Not much has changed, honestly. It looks pretty good. The coverage is good. Maybe a little bit under my eyes. But other than that, I think so far we're still in good shape. All the makeup is still on. We're still good. We'll check in as it gets later and darker. Okay, last check-in of the day. I think it's about almost 9 o'clock at night. So one thing that I noticed right out, I'm a little shiny on my forehead, but I was just like sweating. One thing that I noticed right away is the side that I had the primer on, the blush is more pronounced. The blush stayed on better with the primer than it did without. It's still there, it's just not as pronounced. That ColourPop eyeliner, that's popping. That stayed all day. The eyeshadow, pretty good, starting to crease a little bit, but it's been on for hours. The foundation though, honestly, looks pretty good. I mean, some of it's probably come off, but overall, it did well today. Definitely same thing, like it's a little bit more less here. It didn't get patchy like it did that one day on me. And here it's definitely on me more on the side with the primer. So maybe primer does do something. So that's my last check-in. I hope you guys like this foundation review. Let me know if you would like to see more with different foundations. I have other ones I can do, and as I buy different ones, I can try them. So, all right guys, I'll see you later. Have a great day. Bye.